We've been getting to know God through His names. We've talked about Yahweh. We've talked about Elohim. Today I want to talk about the compound name Elyon. It's one of my favorite names for God. El means God and the Almighty One, the Almighty God. Elyon means the most, the highest. So the name Elyon means the Most High God. This is a powerful name. God is the highest God, the King of Kings, the sovereign ruler of this universe. Satan needs to realize this. In Isaiah chapter 14, we have the story of Satan and being described through the image of the king of Babylon, and it says, God speaking to Satan, he says, you said to yourself, I will ascend to the heavens. Isaiah 14:13. I will set up my throne above the stars of God. I will sit on the mountain of the God's assembly in the remotest parts of the north. I will ascend above the highest clouds. I will make myself like Elyon, the Most High God. The essence of sin is pride and rebellion and self-centeredness, and Satan displays all of that when he says, I don't want to worship you. I want everyone to worship me. I want to be the center of it all. I want to be the highest of all. I want to make myself the Most High God. The problem is, he's not. And so God kicked him out of heaven. We need to realize that we need to submit our lives and surrender our lives and lay down our rebellion before the Most High God, Elyon, Yahweh, Jehovah, Elohim, the true God. That's also a great story about this is found in the book of Daniel chapter 4. I love this story. It's the story of Nebuchadnezzar. Now you know that he built a statue and commanded Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and everybody else to bow down and worship him through that statue, making himself a god. Well, God didn't like that very much. And even though Nebuchadnezzar realized that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were worshiping a real God, Nebuchadnezzar never bowed his own knees before the true God. In chapter 4, Nebuchadnezzar tells his story and he says, I am pleased to tell you about the miracles and wonders of the Most High God has done for me. So he's going to tell this story of how God came to him through a dream that he would become a maniac, crazy, an animal living in the woods. And God said he sent this dream, Daniel chapter 4 and verse 17. This is so the living will know that the Most High, Elyon, is ruler over the kingdoms of men. He gives it to anyone he wants. He sets over it the lowest of men. Elyon is the Most High God. Well, Nebuchadnezzar refused to acknowledge that, even though he had this dream that he would become a maniac if he didn't. And so for 7 years, he lived like a crazy man in the woods, in the wilderness, until he acknowledged the fact that God is the Most High God. He says, at the end of those days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, Daniel 4:34, looked up to the heaven, and my sanity returned to me. Then I praised Elyon, the Most High, and honored and glorified him who lives forever. For his dominion is an everlasting dominion. His kingdom from generation to generation. All the inhabitants of the earth are counted as nothing, and he does what he wants with the army of heaven and the inhabitants of the earth. Nebuchadnezzar was the most powerful king in the world, and he called himself the King of Kings, and he thought everyone should worship him. But the Most High God said no. You know, the ultimate insanity is when we choose to not worship the ultimate God. Have you bowed your knees before Elyon, the Most High God? Have you surrendered your life to his lordship over your life? Have you given God every aspect of your life, your past, your present, your future, your family, your finances, your health, your ministry, your hopes, your dreams? You're foolish not to. In fact, it's insanity not to bow before the Most High God, El Elyon, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. Get to know God today. Get to know God on your knees as you submit your life to Him.